Jack Nicholls, and welcome to
He's going to break Hastings' world title.
Oh, he's done it! And look at these two go. Eoin is going to do it. His first victory.
The World Championship is done. What a race it's been.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 8 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship. The title for the drivers is potentially on the line tonight, and it is a fantastic opportunity at a wonderful venue to bring this opportunity to Mark Schluter. My name is Eoin Harmon. I'm delighted to return to FSR for the second time in my broadcasting career, and alongside me this evening is David O'Reilly. David, how are you keeping?
Yeah, very well, thank you, Owen. Like you, really looking forward to this evening's race here at the Circuit of the Americas, which, as I said to you before we came in, it's hard to believe it's 13 years old, this circuit. It still feels like one of the new ones. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, yeah. I mean, most of the permanent venues these days are actually street circuits rather than, or I should say more, the brand new venues are street circuits rather than permanent circuits. So it's one of the youngest grade A or grade 1 circuits in the world, so it goes to show you we have been moving very quickly in the world of motor racing. So yeah, 10 minutes qualifying coming up very soon, but the Grand Prix length itself 44 laps and
50
it's the record 56. Yeah, it's a full Grand Prix distance. Yes, of course. Yeah, 56.
Full Grand Prix
carryover
distance
from the Pro League. So my apologies there.
Yeah.
In the broadcast direction booth here is Amir Oates. So yeah, the three of us will be very excited to see how things pan out, starting with that qualifying session, David. And conditions should be bright and sunny for all our drivers today.
Yes, indeed. 24 degrees ambient temperature and light clouds, which is eminently predictable for this season. 2026, there's a very good chance that FSR will be implementing live real-world weather. But we don't need to talk about that this afternoon. But Circuit of the Americas was hosted one of the most dramatic season-ending clashes in FSR history. Back in 2014, Morgan Moran came out of the box absolutely flying. It was the first season of rFactor 2, and he'd done his homework. And he was beating Bono House just about every round. And Bono had won 4 titles on the trot. And here at the Circuit of the Americas, Morgan Moran looked like he had the season wrapped up, but he had a double tap on his speed limiter entering the pit lane and scored a drive-through. And that drive-through cost him the FSR World Championship in 2014 and handed Bono House his 5th title on the trot. So that was just an absolutely spellbinding bit of drama back in 2014 on this very circuit.
My goodness me, yeah, the small margins that can decide victory and defeat. But speaking of victory, Mark Schluter has the margin of about 54 points, I believe it is, over Geoffrey Fournier at the top of the World Championship. So if he can maintain that lead with a victory or second place, no matter what Geoffrey, Sander or Patrick Hanko can do about that, he will be the world champion tonight, making sure his lead is more than 51 points. That will do it. But then we have the other permutations coming in that could give Geoffrey or Sander a way back in, or perhaps a very long shot to Patrick there. But of course, in Singapore, it was normal service resumed. I wasn't here for it, but it was a fantastic victory for Geoffrey Fournier. That gave him the maximum 25 points for the first time this season, which means we've had 3 winners in all in this campaign. But Ruben Machedi, I saw him crash out at Spa-Francorchamps, so he is pretty much out of the running, sadly, for Optimal this season. But yeah, it's a massive opportunity for Mark to deliver on his promise. He's been so impressive with 2 wins and a second place in his last 3 appearances.
Yeah, it was an incredible battle back in Singapore. It was very obvious from the opening minutes that Geoffrey Fournier was absolutely on it. He'd done the homework and he was putting Schluter under massive pressure, and just enough pressure for him to crack in the final stint. So it was tremendous driving from Fournier. The two of them were never separated by more than 2 or 3 seconds. And he just pushed hard enough for Mark Schluter to crack and have a small accident, but he recovered in time to finish second. I think we're going to be heading to qualifying in just about 1 minute.
Yeah, so just to be more precise about those permutations, I have them in front of me again, thanks to our colleague Ed Hunter. If it's a victory for Geoffrey Fournier or Sander Callas tonight, Mark Schluter, if he finishes third or worse, then yes, we do have a continuation of the title battle, whereas Patrick Hanko must win and Mark Schluter would have to sink to P6 or below to give Patrick Hanko a chance at staying in the title race. So that means the pressure is on at least 2 drivers to knock Mark down and give Geoffrey or Sander a chance to fill in at least one of those positions to give themselves a slim chance, because there are only 75 points left on the table for our remaining 3 rounds. So yeah, Mark Schluter just needs to maintain his lead and he's got the job done.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't think it would be a very wise thing to bet against Mark. He's been very quick, very, very consistent, almost surgical with his performance. Janos Brakshock has pushed him hard a couple of times, although Janos has not scored a win, but he's had a couple of second places. As we know, Geoffrey Fournier has taken a win, and Reuven Meshadi, who unfortunately won't be here this evening racing, has had a win. So we've had 3 race winners in the season. And just for one moment, I know we have a lot of regular viewers here watching this championship, but just for anybody who's new to Formula Sim racing, if you're wondering what we're doing here, this is the oldest and most prestigious international sim racing league for open wheelers in the world. This is its 25th year of operation. It was an absolute pioneer in the early days of multiplayer online sim racing. And we're running it on rFactor 2, and we're doing that because it's the most authentic and high fidelity simulation available for consumer purchases. This is the closest you'll get to see 20 people driving in the simulators that the Formula One teams use to do their testing. rFactor 2 shares the same core engine design as rFactor Pro, and that is the fundamental engine of the majority of the Formula One teams today. So we've got the most authentic sim, we've got a difficult track, and we've got the best drivers in the world. And I think we're going to see some legends made. And definitely we will be having a new champion crowned at the end of tonight.
Yes, indeed, David. The odds are definitely in Mark Schluter's favour. He's the only driver who has more than 100 points so far this campaign. As we know, it's not over until it absolutely is mathematically concluded. So, Mark, we're on board with him right now. Has the beautiful red into yellow fade stripes on his black helmet. So he takes turn 1 pretty cleanly there. Just a small dabble of a bit of a wobble there, a bit of oversteer, but now through the S's he goes, hitting every apex very cleanly indeed. Yeah, that's beautiful. Hang on through turn 6 before turn 7 begins to the left now, uphill for 8, and then turn 9, keeping it nice and stable there. That's very, very impressive. So we should have some split times to look at, and it's Sander Callas, as a matter of fact, with the first purple sector of a 24.799.
That is very quick indeed, and it hints at potentially a little bit more wing on Sander Callas's car, which is very suitable for Sector 1 and for Sector 3. But so much of Sector 2 is that 1 kilometre long straight that he may pay the price for that in Sector 2. And then looking at the times now, that seems to be the case. He's on the 37.0 for Sector 2, whereas other drivers are in mid 36s. Schluter with a 36.540. In fact, Janos Brakshock and Schluter look to be very, very level after 2 sectors, so it's going to be exciting to see where they end up.
Yeah, that's the one now. Final corner, turn 20. Power across the line. We should have our times coming through. Brakshock was quickest, but Mark has set the boundaries for everyone to chase with a 1 minute 31.686. About 47 hundredths clear of anyone else. So that is absolutely stunning there. The CMT Go team will be absolutely thrilled with that. Patrick Hanko, the outside bet to stay in the title fight, joins his teammate on the front row.
A mighty sector 3 from Mark Schluter. All of that 0.4 of a second has come by virtue, well, nearly all of it was by virtue of sector 3. So he's been absolutely mighty through that very twisty, slow stadium section, then followed by the corner inspired by Turkey turn 8, the 3 apex right-hander. So Schluter was mighty through there to pull off a 31.687.
Yeah, it really is outstanding work here. Few drivers wanting to take their time here in the qualifying session. It's not very long at all. We're almost halfway through already. So we're looking at Zolt Sux at the moment. And Zolt is one of the optimal drivers, of course. And yeah, he's going through his, I think his preparation lap. Yeah, it should be his preparation lap at this stage. So he wants to perhaps figure out what the other drivers are thinking and how they're performing. So if he has the majority of the grid to aim for, he could potentially look at Janos for inspiration there, the other optimal driver in the second row. And then Geoffrey Fournier with the title on the line for him as well. He's currently P5, so up the hill, up for the Hungarian, and takes turn 1. A little bit of curb there, but it didn't put the car into a spin or anything shocking for him, so he can just power on as normal.
Now, the viewers might be interested to know that you can only ever see one car on track because we're running, the qualifying sessions are done in private, which means they're all happening concurrently, but you don't have a chance of tripping over anybody else or any parts of anybody else's car in qualifying. So it makes it very quick and clean, and so everybody can get a couple of clean shots and we can get the qualifying nailed in 20 minutes or so. So it's all private qualifying, but all happening concurrently.
Yeah, it's definitely been a more uniform system in recent years. I suppose in the past there have been times where people would have been on the circuit at the same time and they accidentally interfere with each other, maybe a bit of traffic or someone spins and it forces someone else to slow down. So that's not a factor anymore in private qualifying. So I believe the majority of leagues are running that here in rFactor 2. Green sector's coming up here as we watch Zolt complete his lap. It's not too shabby so far, but I don't think he'd be challenging Schluter's reign so far. Yeah, it's actually P6, so he slots in behind Fournier in the end there. George Zalogiannis, he's having a lap as well. But we're looking at Yassi Latinen, nice contender here in open wheel motorsport in the sim racing world, but I'm afraid that lap didn't go to plan as it leaves him in P12. And now speaking of Zalogiannis, beg your pardon, for the ground effects sim racing team, goes for the final corner now, and he's looking pretty settled at the moment. Can he get into the top 10? He can with an 8th place. Not too shabby, David.
Yeah, that's really good going. And I'm also noticing here that there are 6 drivers occupying a space of 0.3 of a second between Sander Callis in 2nd and Zoltan Sux in 7th. I think Mark Schluter just abandoned the lap because he ran wide on the final corner. He was definitely on a hot one, but ran wide, so that lap would have been disqualified. But he was giving it full beans. Now, of course, he's got a chance now. If they time it very well, they've got the chance within the 10 minutes to have 3 hot laps. So I think Mark Schluter will come back out and get another one done. Because as long as you've only got to start that timed lap within the 10-minute period. So if he leaves the pit lane about now, that gives him plenty of time to get round and trigger a lap before the clock runs down to 0. And that's what most of them will do. The grip, the track rubbers in, just like in real life. It's called real road in rFactor 2. And as cars pass over the track, it is adding rubber. And with 17 drivers on track, a quali session, the track does rubber in. So just like in real life, you've got your best opportunity at the end, and the clever drivers out of the top runners will time their final lap so that it's just doing it at the death to get the absolute perfect conditions.
Here comes Sander Callas for another attempt, and he has to find more than 0.3 of a second. As of course, if he equals that 1 minute 31.687, it'll just be a tie, and because Schluter set the time first, he will get the priority. Ooh, bit of a cut there through turn 4 there, and pushing as hard as he can. We'll get a knowledge of how his lap is going. A little bit down in sector 1 compared to his best. He needs to dig about 0.2 of a second just to reach an improvement of his own time, and that won't be enough to push Schluter anywhere beneath his pole position provisionally. Now on the back straight, getting lots of power down now, 7th gear. He knows this is the decisive moment in the lap, because if he's already too slow at this stage, there's almost no chance he can overturn the deficit. That looks pretty good there, nicely taken there by Sander. Now for the very technical section of the lap, where overtaking is almost certainly for the most brave drivers, otherwise you're going to end up in some sort of an accident. He does improve in sector 2, and yeah, he's found a lot of time there compared to his previous lap. So this is a chance to really make Mark concerned about his chances. Through turn 19 he goes, up the crest for turn 20. Yes, he's got the car powered down, chasing the lap time he needs, but no, it's not enough. It's a 132.9, so he lost a bit of time at the end of the lap, I'm afraid. So it's all gone for Sander. He will not be our pole sitter today, David.
And Janos Brakshock is Janos is on a lap, but because he's only a 0.005 of a second behind Sander, so if Janos pulls this together, Patrick Hanco is on the front row with less than 0.3. We missed. He snuck in under the radar. So awesome quality lap, mighty lap from Patrick Hanco with a 31.966. And Janos Brakshock hasn't closed out the lap. He's not gone any quicker than his previous one. So Patrick Hanco's gone quicker. And I don't know that anybody else has gone quicker.
Bonnier purple in sector 2. It's P5 in the end. He managed to improve by 0.2 of a second. That only puts him behind his teammate Brakshock. And that should be the conclusion of our qualifying session there. It's flown by, but the championship leader is on pole position, and that will be enough. Patrick Hanco, the outside bet to become champion. I'm sure the dilemma would be, how do I beat my teammate so significantly that I do get the necessary swing of about 20 points to keep myself in the title hunt. That is a real dilemma. If you can swing 15 points in the championship, that's the slimmest of margins that you could stay alive heading into the Japanese Grand Prix. But there we go, David, all finished for qualifying, and it was a definite phenomenal performance from Mark Schluter to give himself his platform to go on and win the title. Oh, there we go. The order maybe has to be refreshed there, but just looking on my screen, Mark Schluter on the pole position ahead of Patrick Hanco, Sander Callas, Janos Brakshock, and Jeffrey Fournier in the top 5. Here we go. We should have a refresh hopefully coming right now. But I'll just keep reading on my screen. Zolt Sux, Cosmo Pasculato, George Zologianis, Tom Aldenmenger, and Christian Pasquale are in the top 10. Matthew Toussaint, Yassi Latinen, Giuseppe Canzonieri, pardon me there, Canzonieri 13th, Nandor Marsa 14th, Peter Knapp is 15th. It's been a long time since we've had him back, so warm welcome back to Peter. Then we've Lucas Viscott 16th and Saba Ekales rounding off our 17 car grid. So we will be getting final preparations underway, so I'll just leave David to that side of the organization. So there we go. Mark Schluter has the platform he needs on this 56 lap race to go on and win the title. with 2 races to spare. He has a teammate to help him out, but Sander Callas for ground effect. And then the Optiminal duo, Brakshock and Fournier, the trio I should say actually, Zolt Sux is there as well. So Optiminal have 3 drivers in rows 2 and 3 that can cause can give a headache potentially, but they have to get through a pair of very good drivers just to get access to Mark Schluter there. And Cosmo Pasquito is right behind those Optimal drivers, so he can help out his teammate as well. Zelos Janis, the Greek driver there for ground effects. SimRacing will have to give his teammate a bit of support as best he can. Sander all the way up in 3rd, of course, so be one to watch. Oh, it's time for an ad break actually. So back in a moment.
The Sim Racers Performance Guide, your guide to race setup, strategy, driver performance. Dive in deep, learn about suspension, aero, braking, drivetrain, with a 77-page manual packed full of hours of video tutorials as well. Learn how to fully engineer your setup and get more from your sim. Written and tested by real-world racing drivers, proven in Formula Sim Racing and VEC. Understand and optimize it all with the Sim Racers Performance Guide. Quote FSR for a 20% discount off the normal €10 price.
And a very warm welcome back, everybody. FSR round 8 of 10. This campaign is just a few minutes away from all systems go, and the 56 lap race is shaping up to be a very fascinating one, as the usual winner takes all scenario may be put to bed if the CMT Go team racing say it's all about our number 1 driver Mark Schluter. We're going to help his championship bid out, but if they choose to decide there is a route for Patrick Hancock to go for his first win of the season, they'll give him perhaps an opening to say, yeah, you can have a go at winning the race as long as you let Mark finish 2nd, which will also secure the title for him. So that's the dilemma at play. Other teams, Optimal and Ground Effects Sim Racing team with cars majority in the top 7 or 8, they will have nothing to lose really. They've got to find an opening to go for a race victory. And in the case of Ground Effects Sim Racing team, P3 in the championship, too far back to really make a difference. Whereas the team championship is, of course, wide open with a 4-point advantage for CMT Go team racing. So that also needs to be put into consideration. But of course, the Ground Effects Sim Racing team have not had a winner all season long. And Sander just got his first podium of the season, as of course when I stepped in for the Belgian Grand Prix, Sander kept finishing P4. He had a sequence of finishing 4th place in 4 races in a row, dating all the way back to round 2 in Malaysia. So a bizarre fact, but now that has come to an end as he got his first podium of the season just a moment or 2 weeks ago in Singapore, and that will be a great boost to him, knowing that the championship, it's not all over for Sander just yet, but he needs to realistically win today's Grand Prix, get 25 points on the board and put him up to 122 points, hoping Mark Schluter doesn't get a bumper haul himself. So yeah, it's a shame for Riv Machete down in 6th place in the championship. It's only going to be down from here. Janos is active today, so he DNF'd in the Singapore Grand Prix. Be fighting his way back up the standings as best he can. He could certainly catch Tom Aldenmenger, one of our drivers who also doesn't seem to get the the real success. He has been very consistent though. As you can see, he's picked up 12 points, 10, 7, 10, 8, and then 12 with another 5th place finish. So Tom would be very grateful if he can get one more podium this season for definite with 3 races to go. And then in the battle for the team's championship, it is so close, but we will wait and see how that goes out. So 12th of October was, of course, the Singapore Grand Prix. So a little bit, about 3 weeks ago, I should say. So my apologies there. But Japan on the 16th of November, and then the grand finale in Mexico in the middle of December. So that will be thrilling to say the least. How things could pan out in the team's championship if that certainly still of a tight contest as we're currently seeing. So yeah, just preparing the circuit now. So racing shall get underway in just a moment.
Yeah, they're just heading out for their formation lap, trying to get some heat into the tyres and the brakes, but not too much heat into the engine. And this is a very demanding track, Eoin. I think it really is one that separates the good from the great, because it's a very hard one to learn, inspired by lots of other tracks, but it's not really like anything else. And yeah, we should be getting some great racing.
Yeah, for absolute certainty there, David. And now we're going to run down our grid once again. We do have a small penalty to consider. Here we go. It's Mark Schluter on pole position ahead of Patrick Hanko. Sandro Callas is 3rd and Janos Brakshock is 4th. Just a little problem in our graphics there. We can ignore that for now, or unless they fix themselves. But our top 4, Schluter, Hanko, Callas and Brakshock. Jeffrey Fournier, P5. Cosmo Pascalotto is 6th. George Zalogianis 7th. And Tom Aldenmenger is P8. So there we go. Oh no, that's still incorrect. So we'll have to ignore the graphics for now. Christian Pasquale and Matthew Toussaint are the 5th row pairing, 9th and 10th. Yassi Latinen 11th. Giuseppe Canonieri, beg your pardon there, in 12th. I'll have to practice that one some more. Nandor Marsa 13th. Zolt Sux, there we go. He's got the penalty, so he won't be the ideal driver for Optiminal so far. But of course, the points do go down to 15th position, so he could get a smattering of points. Peter Knapp, Lucas Viscott, and Saba Ekeles are 15th through 17th, as you can see on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. So there we go, David. The majority of tire warming should be done by now, and it's just a case of getting into your grid slots and focusing on your clutch release.
Yeah, I think we should see some action from Zoltan Sux, because he must have qualified in 6th place. If with an 8th place penalty, he's 14th on the grid. So he's out of position. He should have the pace to attack people around him. But I'll let you call the exciting start away, and hopefully it's very hard to see the apex of turn 1 because of the steep uphill. So
you certainly hear it from the first-person accounts of fans who get to go to the Kota venue. It is extremely steep for these open-wheeler cars. It shouldn't be too much of a challenge to get up the hill, but it's getting through the first corner. That is the challenge, and here come the red lights to signal the third to last round of the season, and they're away. It's a good launch for our front row, but Callas knows there's a gap in the middle if he can exploit it. Brakshock looking on the inside with his teammate sweeping around the outside. That's beautiful from Fournier. Nothing of the ordinary there. He is a very smooth driver, but Schluter and Hanko hang on to their front row advantage as they go through turns 4 through 6. Oh, around the outside. That was close there. No contact, but there's a Canonzieri in the gravel trap. That could be a game over there for the Vega Valley eSports driver.
Quite a bit of wheel banging between Cosmo Pascuto and George Zelagianis through the beginning of Sector 1. They were absolutely slamming wheel rims, but Zelagianis in the end prevailing. But I don't think there's any damage. Pretty clean, I've got to say, through turn 1. Some very good driving there.
Yeah, Fournier, that was absolutely magnificent, I will say. He found the gap on the outside. He could sweep it almost like an oval style with the banking there. Absolutely wonderful from Fournier. He knows he's got to fight as hard as he possibly can. But as things stand, Schluter has the option to finish first or second, and that will guarantee the title. Nothing else can be done by his rivals Fournier or Callas, but they're doing their honest best work here, third and fourth. But Hanko, he's got that dilemma of his own, as if he wants to become champion, he needs Schluter way out of contention.
We'll get some updates soon on tyre choices. It takes the sim a little while to send us all the data on what tyres people have chosen. We haven't talked about strategy, but I think we're probably going to be looking at a two-stop. Certainly you can't one-stop this one.
Oh, that's contact! Zalogiannis goes round with Pasquale, I think that is. Or, oh, that was close.
It was the two guys. It was the same two guys who did battle on lap 1 and at the same part of the track as well. They wanted to come out of the neutral corner and have another go. And George Zalogiannis looks like he's very focused on getting on his gearbox again. Hopefully, neither of the cars have significant damage, and they'll be able to continue on for another 54 laps.
Yeah, Latinen is the big beneficiary there in the MV Conquest, because he was all the way down in about 11th place, and now he's earned his helpful self a 7th place on circuit now, and he's got a healthy gap in behind him. Actually, you can see on the inside here, it's Snap on the inside of Alden Minger, and he's through. That's a great pass. And just behind here, Zoltsuks, the driver with the bit between his teeth after a penalty. He's going around the outside here, and he's through. Tucson had no response there, and that's how you do it in the middle of the second sector, heading into the third sector. That was absolutely magnificent. Well done to those drivers for making beautiful overtakes.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, when you get out and do some laps practicing on this circuit, it's very hard to get through that tight stadium section. You know, it's hard to spot the apexes, and it's incredibly slow.
Oh! My goodness, that's Pasquito, I think, just in front of his teammate. Almost making a mistake. I beg your pardon for the interruption, but at least he didn't spin and cause his teammate to have an accident there. And Marsa in the middle of all this as well. Oh, goodness, there's something wrong with that setup. The car's just all over the place.
George Zalogiannis has just tapped the Pasquito in the gearbox, and it looks a little bit like it's gotten a bit personal between those guys, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a tap on the back. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's not going to help either of them really with their cause. But it's an emotional sport, and when you feel that people have treated you unkindly, it's tricky sometimes to not react in the car. But so often when you look at the replay, it's nothing like you thought it was. So you've got to really keep a cool head. I'm noticing that Saba Elikas has DNF'd. I'll go back and see what happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Elikas there. That's a shame to be down a driver already. Canzonieri is already a minute behind, so it's a significant task in front of him to stand any chance. But we just saw a moment ago in the battle for the 4th position there, I think Brashok went a bit wide onto the runoff of turn 12, but he's managed to recover it. But Schluter's lead is remaining steady at about 6.5 tenths of a second here. But Latinen is looking at Knapp, who's definitely not feeling the rustiness. He's come out of the box flying after several months away. Pushing on now into lap 4. Latinen continues his chase of Knapp, who has the ACA championship under his belt, and he's got to find a way to push on here. He's kind of in the awkward point where Pasquale's too far ahead, but if he makes a single mistake, then Latinen will be first on the scene. Then Alden Menger and Sux are right there. Maybe Tucson with a bit of a long shot. Matthew Tucson could come along himself. Through turn 11 they go, the acute left turn hairpin before they challenge the slight uphill, and the DRS zone is here. But let's see what Latinen can do. He's got to watch out, of course. Alden Minger and Sux will have some DRS just behind. He's able to take the apex normally here, David.
Kasaba Saba Ilikis was an unfortunate victim. There was a 3 wide situation going into the first S's in Sector 1, Lap 1. And there was a little bit of inadvertent contact and somebody bounced into him. So, yeah, one of those 3 wide situations where you can't see the third car. If you're beside somebody, you can't tell there's somebody else the other side of him. So, yeah, his race ended on Lap 1.
Yeah, there's the tag there. That's going to send him into the wall. And that is surely significant suspension and aerodynamic damage on the front side. So here we go at the replay. The wheels get interlocked. And then we're joining the circuit there. It's another 3 wide. And that's how the contact is made. And yeah, the front. You can see it from Giuseppe's point of view there. But he did have to actually pit for a new front wing. You can see when he's facing backwards, you can't tell what might have happened. Yeah, there's the contact for sure there, and that sends him straight into the barrier and backwards onto the gravel trap. Yeah, he is at least setting PB times. I know he's got a long way back, but at least the fundamentals, the internals of his car are okay. Schluter's lead stayed exactly the same as before, but Hanko is going to use DRS to close the gap a little bit. Of course, Callas and Fournier, they need something to go amiss for Mark to give themselves any chance of closing the gap. But in all honesty, if Patrick Hanko wins the race and Schluter is down in 6th place, then it would mean Patrick Hanko would definitely still be in the title race to make a 4-way battle for the penultimate round of the season.
Bit of an update for you on tyres. They say great minds think alike. Everybody in the top 13 is on hards except for Peter Knapp. All the other guys are on hards. In fact, and apart from Knapp, the only other 2 runners on mediums is Nandor Massa and Cosmo Pescuto. Everybody else has started off on the hard tyre. So they're all taking their medicine now. This is the slowest the car's going to be. They start with about 133 litres of fuel and a hard tyre. And that's a car that's 6.5 seconds slower than what the guys were doing in qualifying. So it's a different beast that they've all got to manage. But a little bit like we had in Singapore, the lead guys all on the same tyre, all with the same tyre life at this time. So very hard for anybody to make a big charge on somebody else when the standard is this high, and they're all on equivalent rubber. Later on in the race, as people's strategy unfold, we'll see people on either a different grip level of tyre, 1 or 2 steps grippier tyre, but also we'll come across situations where people have a tyre, might have the same tyre but different tyre life based on how long they've run. So it gets very interesting after the first pit stop. But for now, the guys have got to stay mistake free and stay close. And I think we've got the top 5 covered by 2.2 seconds. So it's incredibly close driving going on.
Yeah, and here's a look at Zalogiannis. George Zalogiannis has performed an attack successfully on Lucas Viscott and his MV Conquest car. So important work done in this battle for some points here. MV Conquest will be grateful just for a handful of points, as Latinen has been their sole point scorer for the majority of the season. Viscott has DNF'd the last 3 rounds in a row. So Lucas would be grateful just to get a few points. But now in the battle for P9, that is Sux down the inside of Latinen. So Latinen has lost a handful of places in just a couple of laps. So I didn't notice exactly what's happened. But Zolt's one of the only Optimal Esports cars just outside the top 5 at the moment. He's overtaken Latinen, so something has gone horribly wrong for our Finnish driver. And Latinen, yeah, as I was saying, for MV Conquest, they want to get points. Latinen wasn't available the last round in Singapore, so they want to get themselves back up the standings as quickly as possible. But it doesn't help when that was a glorious pass from Sux.
So Sux, he seems to have read our script, Owen. Sux is creating quite a lot of action for us as he works his way up the grid. And I've just seen Tom Oldenmenger and Peter Knapp seem to be in a big battle in the final sector at the moment. Very close quarters. And this is where the car has almost no aero benefit. It's all about mechanical grip and driving. And you've got to be so gentle on the throttle because the car just has no aero grip. And through the massive high-speed triple apex right-hander, the one inspired by the corner in Turkey, and Tom is not going to be able to stay on his gearbox through there, of course, with the effect of the dirty air coming off Peter Knapp's car.
No, it's really difficult to maintain your aerodynamic balance in the dirty air, and that's why sometimes it's better just to ease off for a lap or two before building your momentum back up and going for the attack later in the lap, particularly with the long DRS straight between turns 11 and 12. But the battle for the race lead hasn't really come to life just yet, as CMT Go Team Racing can say we are happy the way things are going here. Sander Callas and Jeffrey Fournier are the ones who need to make moves the most urgently of anyone, as they are 54 and 55 points behind respectively. That means they have to go for more than just the win. They need Schluter further down the podium or not on it whatsoever. DRS for everyone in the top 5, and even Christian Pasquale could think about maybe a push lap soon if he wants to get involved in this battle. You can just see Christian there. There he is. So CMT Go Team have plan C and plan D with Peter Knapp, of course, who's decided to go off strategy with everyone else. He can kind of push for another 3 or 4 laps in the stint before he may have to think, I need to ease off on these tires, because the hards will be more viable later on in the race before our pit strategies begin, and certainly the track temperature so boiling hot there at 36 degrees Celsius. It really will burn into those mediums in a short while, and Alden Menger will be wanting to see Peter Knapp in his mirrors very soon.
And it's always hard to predict how long these guys are going to go on any given set of tyres, because the little bit of testing I did on this circuit, it indicated that, driven really, really carefully, the hards might even be good for 30 laps. But I think that's probably because I'm a lot slower than these blokes. So, I mean, something's telling me 22 to 25 laps, and because that's going to leave a nice split a lap count that would split nicely into 2 medium stints, if you get what I mean. 22 laps is going to leave them with, what, about 34 laps left.
Just a small tag there on the back left of Alden Menger by Zolt Sux there. It seems to be okay. Carry on, please, David.
Oh, no, I was just saying that it just would divide nice and neat into 2 good medium tyre stints. I think 16 or 17 laps, these guys would have no problem doing that on the medium. So 32 from 56 leaves us 24. So my money is on sort of 23, 24 lap run on these hards, and then jumping on the mediums as early as they can, really, because the first guy to put on the mediums is going to have a massive chance at an undercut, because he's going to be going second to a second and a half quicker than he will be on the worn hards.
Well, just the action replay shows an off there for CMT Go Team Racing car, I believe. So he did very well to actually put it in reverse while still in the gravel trap. That prevented a clash with the barrier. Yeah, very, very clever just to get into reverse gear and turning it around. So that's Cosmo Pasquito there. So he's having a diabolical race, but he's decided enough's enough and he's retired the car. Yeah, at least the torture can now end, as poor old Cosmo has had it very, very rough. And leaves us with 15 competitors still on the circuit, but Giuseppe Canzonieri is all the way back, a minute and 10 seconds by himself. There you can just see the red dot on the map. That will be him, still about to complete his 9th lap.
So looking here at Alden Menger and Zoltan Sux in 8th and 9th, bearing down on Peter Knapp. Peter Knapp is on the medium tyre. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, Tom is attacking Peter Knapp. He's
really going for it, and that was narrowly missed into turn 13 now. Going on the triple apex, and that's a bang on the wheel. That was a huge dive, but Sux was thwarted that time. Certainly Tom won't be too impressed by that. It would have given his suspension a rattle, but it didn't end up causing a spin or a lost part of the side pod or anything like that. So both cars are intact, but definitely the impact from wheel to side pod maybe fell through the wheel.
A bit unfortunate, and Zux is backed off to let Tom through, but that still doesn't really account for it in full, because Tom was in a massive position to attack Peter Knapp in front of him, and now it's cost him a couple of seconds, and hopefully it hasn't cost him any damage. So yeah, very unfortunate set of decision making there.
Yeah, that was a very rash move. I did say in the build up to overtake into turns 15 and 16 is extremely difficult. You've got to be very, very quick, or else something will backfire on you, and that's exactly what I meant. It was thankfully not a fatal incident there for Sux or Oldenminger to knock them out of the race, but it did mean their rhythm has been disrupted, and that gives a reprieve to Peter Knapp. He's okay to push on for a little while longer before those tyres definitely can't go any further. We're on board now with Brakshock here. Janos Brakshock just has to perhaps follow team orders for now, because Fournier needs to be in the prime position for Optimal today. He is their new contender after the downfall of Ruben Michetti in the last month or so. We'll see if there is a way that the two Optimal guys can work together and get through Sander Callas, and then get themselves in a 2v2 tag team fight with the Go Team pair.
So the battle going on between Knapp, Oldenmenger and Silks has also slightly brought Latinen back into the game a bit, although they seem to be dropping him a little bit now. They seem to have a little bit more natural pace up their sleeve. But Oldenmenger is now indeed starting to breathe down the neck of Peter Knapp again, and I hope this time he's got the good manners to allow me to introduce it before he actually goes for the move, like last time. We were psyching everybody up for the action, and he did the action before we'd finished the intro.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the battle now. Going down the back straight here. Indeed, Ed is in chat at the moment, and he does point out, of course, the team's championship is very much on the line. Just 4 points between Go Team and Optimal. So Optimal will definitely be on the defeat column, as of course Pasquale 6th and Peter Knapp in 8th. That gives him a huge advantage. So yeah, let's see if anything can change at the moment.
Well, Peter Knapp is taking on a very defensive posture now. He's doing a bit of zigging and zagging, obviously wanting to prevent people from being able to get the slipstream. But Tom Oldenmenger is through. He's through nice and clean on Peter Knapp, and off into the sunset.
Yeah, a personal best second sector for Tom, and entering pit lane there is Knapp, so it makes sense. The tires are going to burn out in a few laps time, so it's better just to, as you said, David, go in a divided strategy where you break the race into three thirds and make sure you can do an even amount of laps on each stint, or have a bit of time at the end to go a little bit longer. So it makes sense for Peter to make a change and go for it now. So he's on the conventional hard tire, so he's trying the undercut, and you'll hope that he can catch up to these guys very soon. But Latinen, after a promising start, he's got to build himself back up again, falling from 7th to 10th place. Now he's back up to 9th. He's only about 7/10 behind Zolt at the moment, so maybe there's a chance at revival for the MV Conquest lead driver.
Yeah, just watching Peter on his outlap now on these hard tyres. He's got clear air in front and behind, so he's got no threats. Switching to the hards normally means a small front wing adjustment as well to balance the grip a bit, little bit less front wing than you can manage with the softs, the medium, sorry. And I actually thought he might have gone a bit longer than 13 laps, but the mediums are it's a bit seductive. It's a lovely feeling pushing them hard, but then you can just start to overheat them and get too much heat into the core of the tyre, and then they fall away very, very quickly. So he's probably quite happy to be on those hards, and he can now deal out a lot of abuse to the hard tyre without them suffering.
Yeah. So the fight for P3 pushes on here. Jeffrey Fournier with that beautiful overtake around the outside of his teammate on the opening lap. He hasn't been able to pull any punch or perform any punches against Callas for the third position. So the chance for the live standings to make a dramatic swing. So Callas will be back up to second place in the championship as things currently stand, but it will mean Mark Schluter's lead is more than enough with 2 rounds to go. 177 points is about 60 or thereabouts, so he's well and truly sorted to become the world champion in about an hour's time as things currently stand. But we've yet to see any of these drivers competing for the victory take to the pits, so all could change very quickly.
It'll be almost twilight, by the way, when we finish, because it was a 4 p.m. Race start in-game. And I think sunset here in Austin, Texas is going to be not long after the race finishes. So we're going to see some dramatic shadows and changes in the light, but shouldn't be enough to affect the visibility for the drivers.
Yeah, exactly. So this venue in the heart of Austin certainly will have plenty of sunshine in the summer, but we're heading to the winter now, so it won't be as wonderful and scenic, but that's not a concern for these drivers. They just want to make sure they can get to the finish line before the full-on sunset takes place. And yeah, Hanko and Schluter almost inseparable in this first stint. Perhaps Patrick had a better lap previously at 138.4. Gained 0.2 on Schluter there. Oh, mistake at P13 here for Visco. Oh, the back end is completely shook on that car. He's lost tire grip and he will need to pit immediately. So that could be an opportunity for Giuseppe Canzonieri and Nandor Marza to catch up for one position, as that will be worth the handful of points as well. 13 is worth 3 points, so that could be a swing in favor of Giuseppe or Nandor.
Yeah, there's a big lose on the triple apex right-hander for Lucas Vichot, and he just about melted his rear tyres, because even the simple little left-hander after that, the rear tyres couldn't handle that, so he'd absolutely cooked them. 14 laps on these hards, and yeah, a bit of a grip balance issue, maybe a little bit too much front wing for the hards, but he's doing a great job for his sponsor. Happy Cleaning, Clean and Shine, and MV Conquest, his team.
Yeah, that's a very nice sponsor to have, but the squeaky clean job that has to be done, really, there has to be something absolutely exceptional here. But nevertheless, we're into lap 16 of 56. We still have no hints as to inform us when any of these drivers are going to pit. Don't have any potential hints either from Pasquale or Sux. They're still pushing on, so they could be indicators for our two teams going for the title of the team's champions. CMT Go team with the 1-2 at the moment. I'll give them an extra boost over Optimal, who are just stuck on the periphery of the podium. That was Ed informed. The top two drivers for each team are credited with points for the team's championship, so as not to make sure there's a numbers advantage. But Callas by himself here for Ground Effects SimRacing team. He's got his teammates down in 10th and 11th at the moment. Rashok, he's kind of the driver where there's not much he can do, because he can't disturb Jeffrey, who has a slim chance of the title. and he has no competition behind to hold up. So, if anything, Optimal do have perhaps a joker in the pack to say we can tell Janos just to try something totally different, and it could work out in Jeffrey's favor long term, or else it'll be like, okay, we give it a go, and we just cost Janos a few seconds, but it's not actually fatal to his track position, I should say, as he is comfortably clear of Christian at the moment.
Peter Knapp's getting on well with his fresh hards. He's going quicker on them than he was on his mediums, and he's just about matching the guys in the lead on their worn hard tyres. So I think he's happy that he made that pit stop.
And Lassinen is in the box as well. That will be important for MV Conquest. We will see Knapp gain his position back. Of course, the gap is still significant against Zelos Janis. But yeah, these top 5 drivers are just thinking rather than going for action. But Hanko is on DRS at the moment. So let's see how things can develop soon. Yeah,
Tom Oldenmenger has pulled a couple of seconds on Zoltan Sux in 7th place. Oldenmenger, Sux in 8th place. So that little drama before, they've separated themselves. And Oldenmenger at the moment has got the wood on Zux, but he's got a pretty big gap, 6-second gap in front of him to Christian Pasquale. So the next guy is a long way up the road. And Pasquale himself is a little bit of no man's land because he's 8 seconds behind Brackshock and 6 seconds ahead of Tom. So he's having a lonely race, but I'm sure he's not unhappy about being in 6th position in a Formula Sim Racing World Championship event.
Yeah, I mean, he has 2 DNFs and 2 could not attend scores. So on 32 points, he is 10th in the championship. So he wants to stay clear of Lattinen, and he'll have to push a bit harder to continue his rise up the table, because Zelos Janis has 49 points and George is on course to score a few points. So it means it will be a bit closer between those two. But for the position 6 through 15, it is consecutive points, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, etc., etc. So it won't be a huge swing one way or the other unless there is a dramatic retirement or other incident. Oh, big wobble there from Marza just behind Canzonieri. So these drivers, now that they have a chance to have a fight, let's see how they behave and how they can use a bit of mind games perhaps, because they know there's nothing to lose in terms of getting, well, it is 2 points versus 3, depending on whether you finish 13th or 14th.
Well, it's pretty incredible. We're 18 laps into this event and the top 5 are all within 3 seconds of each other. So it's an incredible train of top talented drivers fighting in the top 5, and they have cleared off from the person in 6th place. So any one of these guys really does have the chance to win this event. And I'm just going to play that game of let's guess when they're going to pit, because the other option they've got, other than 2 equal splits on mediums, which necessitates them going a little bit further into the race, if somebody dived onto the medium, did a cheeky little undercut and got track position, they can always put on us. Oh, big slide from Fournier in sector 1 there.
Oh.
And Janis Brackshock is very, very close to him. I guess it's his own teammate. But what I'm saying is a quick medium stint for a big undercut, 15 laps or so on the medium, and then bolt on some hards for the run home. And the other guys are going to have to catch you. And they might be on a softer tyre, but it's not going to be quicker for the whole final stint. So I'm licking my lips in anticipation to see what these gurus do at the next pit stop.
Yeah, and the fact that Fournier was very close to losing DRS activation against Callas, that could influence the decision to maybe gamble with Janos's car, as Ed has speculated in chat as well. Oh dear, right again. That car's not looking too healthy here, David.
Yeah, Yep, Jeffrey Fournier's rear tyres are going off, and I don't think he's going to do many more laps before stopping. Yep, and Fournier is entering the pits now, and he did well holding it together, but wow, that car was looking like the rears had totally gone off. And where are we? 20 laps in.
Yeah, that's not ideal for Jeffrey. It means that Go Team have 2, maybe 3 cars that can give them accurate data for the second stint before Schluter has to pit himself. But the opportunity now for Callas to have a think. He's on his own. He doesn't have Brakshock in DRS, as we now have a switch back to the battle for 13th, and the fact that you can have 3 points for 13th. That's the motivation for Marza here. He wants to get an extra point. He's got the softer compound tire after taking a pit stop a little while ago. Canzoniere, he's working hard on the same compound for the entire stint so far. But this is
I'll share a bit of detail with you. A pit stop transit here is 22 seconds.
Oh, that's wide.
Jeffrey Fournier left the pit lane 24 seconds behind Mark Schluter. He's now 22.5 seconds behind Mark Schluter. So he's absolutely gassing it on these mediums, and no doubt using a little bit of a extra engine mode as well. The drivers have got about 100 seconds of quali mode to use at their discretion during the race. 23 seconds off Fournier now. So I think Fournier is in a net second place now as he closes out the final sector. So he may in fact, he's undercut Hanko, and he's not far off undercutting Schluter. Schluter pretty much needs to pit, and he hasn't pitted.
No.
Okay, so Fournier is going to undercut Schluter.
Yeah, up the hill we go. Jeffrey Fournier in camera shot right now, and it has paid off. Jeffrey Fournier has made the overtake on Sander Callas, which makes it more difficult for the Ground Effect SimRacing team to have a driver still in the championship hunt. Fournier 1 point better off than Sander in the championship as we started the evening's action, and more cars exiting pit lane as well there. So that would have been Sux and Alden Menger together, and Tucson 2. So yeah, lots of drivers feel this is the target to get a 2-stop strategy in. Maybe they could go to soft tires. That would be an interesting gambit. But yeah, definitely as your point there, David, Mark Schluter should be in the pits this time due to the power of the undercut and the fact that your transit in the pit lane is actually pretty reasonable around here.
Yeah, Fournier is now 20 seconds behind Schluter, so Fournier is in the net lead. If Schluter pits now, Fournier will take on the lead on a set of tyres that is only 2 laps older than Schluter. But Schluter's been showing very, very good pace, and Schluter goes around again. Okay, so he's decided to battle rather than respond to the undercut. He's going to battle Fournier with tyre life. He's got to go in a little bit deeper. So when they go head-to-head on the same compound, he's got a fresher set. So confident and cunning move from Schluter to not react.
Yeah, that will be fascinating to see. Fournier is up to P2 now. It won't mean the championship will continue for him. Set a new fastest lap of a 136.3, and that will mean Hanko and Callas will have to react. And Callas, if the graphic is correct, he's preferred the hard tire for the second stint in a row, and that could be a point of contention here. Fournier and Hanko proved to be faster mediums. We'll now check out the battle for 6th position. Christian Pasqua has to defend from Aldenmenger and his brand new set of tires. So this could be a fantastic moment here for Tom Aldenmenger to make an overtake here against one of the Go Team cars. Yeah, Max Schluter feels like there's a little bit more tire life in that car, but he is set to lose the lead. But if he stays on second position's rostrum step, then he will still be champion anyway.
So I can't see a pit stop for Christian Pasquale.
Me neither.
It's looking to me like yeah, I can't see a long enough lap time that shows a pit stop for him. So is he still on? Did he start on mediums and stay on mediums? Can't have done.
No,
Anyway,
I don't think
yeah.
so. It was Knapp who was on the mediums at the start of the race.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I recall anyway.
And Older Menger on new hards. Fournier, Hanco on mediums. Callis on hard. Callis often goes a bit alternative with his tyre strategy, and he'll pay his penance earlier in the race and be on something very quick on low fuel late in the race for a spectacular run home. So that's something we can all look forward to.
Yeah, that will be a thriller to see at the end of the race. Watching from the camera facing the driver's helmet there briefly was Callas, but Schluter's lead is coming down. His last lap was a 138.3. Fournier setting a new personal best first sector. He did a 1 minute 36.5 just a lap ago, and he's already found another half a second in a single sector. So the Go team must be saying very soon you've got to pit the car, because our chance to fight back with tire life later in the stint may be minimized if Fournier is gaining so much time in this critical juncture of the Grand Prix, as we have seen pitters, but the race leader and the championship contender, who's just first or second away from guaranteeing the title, he's still confident, David. He will not pit the car until he's absolutely certain.
What I think he might be doing, and we can't speak to the operations of his mind or the mind of his engineers, he might be just putting himself in the zone so he can go medium, because I think with a stop at lap 20 as Geoffrey Fournier did, I think Geoffrey Fournier is going to have to go medium hard. I don't think Geoffrey Fournier can get home from here just using one more set of mediums, if you know what I mean. So Schluter's got to differentiate his strategy. He's got to offset his strategy and allow himself to be on a medium, fighting Fournier with Fournier on a hard. That's highly likely in my in my mind, but maybe nowhere else. But yeah, I think that's what he's doing. He's got to get a tyre offset out of this effort of running so long.
And definitely the track is getting very rubbered in now. We're seeing green lap times for everybody, from Callas down to Sux. So 5 different drivers have set personal best lap times. Not quite enough to get the overall fastest lap, but absolutely the performance is starting to rise and rise, thanks to the car burning off its fuel tank and the tire life really excelling. Schluter continues to lose bits of time, but he did get a green sector 1 there, so it did keep it competitive with Fournier, now that he's able to push very hard and not have to battle Patrick Hanco. And yeah, second sector is where the car will really be put to the test, and that's where Fournier has gained a lot of time again. So we'll see the laps in just a moment as we have an action replay here. This is pit lane exit here, so let's just double check. And then we're gone before. This must be Giuseppe Canzonieri falling out of the race one way or the other for Vega Valle. He's out of turn 16 there, heading into the triple apex. Still going. Now we'll enter the penultimate braking zone of the lap, and there goes the back end. He rescued it just in the nick of time. Goes into pit lane, and he missed pit entry completely there. He failed to slow down in time. He has to engage reverse gear and get into the pits that way.
Awful.
Yeah,
now, you know who's looking pretty good? Sander Callis is looking pretty good. He's on a hard. Hanco in front of him on a medium, but he's only 2 seconds behind him and making very, very good lap time. So when Sander Callis puts on a softer set of tyres and Patrick Hanco potentially puts on a hard or even the same softness as Callis for the next stint, Callis may well have the upper hand and score himself yet another podium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be fantastic for Sander, even if he can't become champion any longer. But here we go, Schluter. We're watching him on board there. Now he's decided on lap 25 practically heading towards halfway. Not quite there yet, but very close to halfway. He makes it into his box, and he's got medium tyres. So Geoffrey Fournier will assume the race lead, but Patrick Hancock and P3 will surely know that he will be ahead of his teammate for now. But when those tyres kick into life, there won't be much arguing on the radio. But Sandor Kalas and Mark Schluter are ahead. So if he wants to win the title, Mark Schluter has to work very, very hard to do it now.
Yeah, 6.8 seconds behind Fournier, and on some grippy tyres. So we're going to see Mark Schluter lighted up now as he works his way back through these other guys. So he seemed to.
Sorry to interrupt there. Knapp took the corner as usual. He didn't feel that Latinen was close enough to warrant going around the outside, so there was contact, but the two cars do carry on. But they've got to be aware because Matthew Toussaint is closing in very quickly himself. So that'll be good news. And to have Toussaint in play here. Let's see what he can figure out if these two cars continue to battle.
Still a 2-second gap between Zoltan Sux and Tom Oldenmenger for 7th and 8th. So no big news there. And Christian Pasquale, well, Tom Oldenmenger has pulled that gap right down, because if you recall, I think Pasquale was 8 or 10 seconds up the road from Tom. And it's now a couple of seconds, 2 and a bit. So Tom's had the bit between his teeth. And Tom often pulls out a bit of magic to get into the top 6 late in the race. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve this afternoon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because prior to Tom pushing very hard, it was definitely a case where Pasquale lost a bit of time in his most recent lap, but he has stabilized it a bit. Definitely better from Tom most recently, so that pulls the gap down. And the battle for 10th place is at stake here in Toussaint. Yeah, he's made that move pretty comprehensively on Latinen. So ground effect have something to cheer here, with Toussaint pushing on very smoothly. And that means Latinen's attempt on Knapp has gone severely wrong on him, as he's ended up losing a position instead of gaining one. And Toussaint
hitting that well off the track there.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. Second bite of the cherry for Latinen coming up. But Toussaint on those mediums is looking very, very pleased with himself now. Here's Schluter. He's made that pass on Brashaw.
Big oversteer moment with Peter Knapp mid-corner out of the hairpin. His rears really did let go. And has he pulled aside? Yeah, he's essentially... Well, I think that was perhaps a defensive posture that just didn't work particularly well in Latin, and with the DRS and with probably a bit of push to pass has gotten through. But some feisty racing going on down here for 9th, 10th and 11th place.
Yeah, Nando Marza coming out of pit lane there. He doesn't rejoin in a risky... he doesn't rejoin with risk. He just plays it safe, which allows our battle for the podium to resume. And Schluter at the new fastest lap of the race there, 1:36.1, and that means that Sandor Kalas, his championship bid may be numbered here, because if he's off the podium and Schluter is third, that means only Geoffrey Fournier could possibly win it. And of course, Patrick Hancock there, just in the middle of your screens now. He will know when the time is right. He will move over for his teammate. Here we go. This is the moment of the Grand Prix so far, and it will be Kalas using the racing line, but Schluter with DRS completes the move before he has to hit the brakes, and that means Sandor Kalas is without a doubt out of the championship hunt on current standings. So it's up to Geoffrey Fournier to somehow defend this situation. It's very unlikely, but at least he's giving it a good go. Getting the taste for victories at Singapore last time out 3 weeks ago. That means that Jeffrey wants to go back-to-back, even if it means the title is beyond his grasp. So Sander Callis has already lost another second there. Schluter 135.811 this time, and that's another fastest lap. So that's definitely the upside of his strategy call, David. He's absolutely flying. In the pits is Jeffrey again, so Jeffrey pits for the second time.
That's strange because he's only been on those tyres for 9 laps and he's given up the lead and he's changed to hards according to what I can see here.
Yeah, we will get that data confirmed in just a moment, but that does allow the championship to return to Schluter mathematically, as Zalogiannis on his comeback trail. He has a look on the outside of Peter Knapp, but he tries a switch back down the hill for turn 2, but it won't work out this time. But certainly these two will give it a ding-dong fair battle. Different strategies between them at the moment, so Peter will be heading towards the end of his stint pretty soon. But George Zalogiannis will be pretty confident as he has newer hard tyres compared to Peter, who of course started on those medium.
Yeah, wow! I just can't get over that stint. It was a 9 or 10 lap stint on the medium for Jeffrey, and it means Jeffrey's put some hard tyres on only 2-3 laps later than Schluter's pit stop. So,
yes.
Is he a pit stop down? Can he go 26 laps on these hards? I mean, he only did 20 laps on his first set of hards, unless he's in his mind, he's decided to absolutely rag those mediums, pull off the big undercut, and then bring it home from here. I mean, he is in the net lead still. He's 18 seconds behind Schluter. That is if Schluter is only going to stop. Well, if Schluter stops one more time and Jeffrey Fournier can bring it home from here, Jeffrey is still in the net lead if he can stay within 22 seconds of Schluter. But Schluter's on mediums and flying, and Jeffrey Fournier's put on hard. So we're going to see which way that gap goes. It's currently 18.3 seconds. Intriguing in what's going on with Optimal Esports and their strategy for Jeffrey Fournier.
Absolutely, yeah. We had the 5 drivers in a single file queue for the first stint, and now things have really picked up. And of course, team orders have been completed there. Schluter has pulled over second clear of his teammate Hanko since the order was made, and now Jeffrey Fournier's got to make this pass. Pasquale cannot defend there despite holding as much of the inside as he possibly could, but Fournier managed to find the smallest of margins that he could dive down the inside safely, and he's back up into the top 5. Pasquale did his best, but just not enough there. But well done to both drivers. They did not make any contact. That would have been totally shocking.
Yeah, very clean and skillful racing from a couple of top competitors there. He's holding the gap at 18.5 seconds. So Fournier on the hard tyre is holding this gap, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, really good work here from the French driver here, Fournier. Full clear of Christian now. He's really going for it.
Last time around, Fournier did a 136.2 and Schluter did a 136.3. So Schluter's on those mediums. He's a few laps into that stint, and those mediums are potentially going away a little bit. I'm just looking back here to see which lap he pitted on. Yeah, lap 26 was the pit stop. So he's only 5 or 6 laps into this stint, but he's obviously pushing the medium tyre very, very hard.
Yeah, well, he should. It's his only way to get his second victory, in succession. Brakshock here looking to make Sander Callis' life very difficult now. Brakshock, after a DNF in Singapore, he wants to get back to his best potential. And That would mean overtaking Ruben Machete for certain in the championship, and maybe Tom Aldenmenger, he could catch up and overtake him as well for this battle for the podium as things stand. But of course, Fournier will expect to be on the podium if his strategy works out. We have seen Peter Knapp in the pits, and then Lucas Viscott is also pulled in for a stop. That will mean those two drivers will be a lap down for certain this stage, so that will allow 11 drivers to remain on the lead lap for now. But Callas doing his very best just to stay clear. Fournier, purple sector 1, but not quite the clincher at the end of the lap that he needed. So we'll compare in just a moment how they're getting on in sector 1 on lap 32. It's advantage to Sluiter.
Aldenmenger coming up against lapped car. He's just about to clear Lucas Viscott, and Lucas Viscott certainly jumped off onto the grass to get out of the way. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Fournier, sector 2 deficit coming up in a little while. We'll see how he gets on. But it's Brashok versus Callas once again. They're still pretty close, but not close enough for an overtake to take place. Fournier's sector 2 is slightly slower, so Schluter's definitely feeling confident on those mediums for another while. Brashok heading through to complete this lap 33 for these guys, as well as the race leader Schluter. There we go. It's not enough here. He'll have to pull off some good cornering speed to make sure he can use DRS after turn 11. Latinen is on the cameras at the moment, trying to find a way past Zalos Giannis. Nandor Marza, in fairness to him, a lap down, he has been quick. But of course, these guys long way ahead so far.
Peter Knapp just facilitated a very neat pass by Christian Pasquale under blue flag, so well done to him for that. That is one of the arts in these longer races. There is a chance you're going to get lapped, and you've got to be able to do it in a tidy way without getting in people's way, without hurting your lap too much.
Yeah, exactly. That's the major dilemma when you're a lap down. You can't just back off completely and cost yourself even more time in a vicious circle. You do have to concentrate so much that you can let the quicker driver by and then make sure you're back on the throttle for your own lap. As of course, when you've lost your concentration, you can definitely make big mistakes, and you're not following your ideal racing line, and you're losing tire pressure, for example. So that's why you have to never give up when you're a lap down. There's still a way for these drivers in the race to make sure that they finish the race, and they will pick up points down to 15. So everyone who's still running will be classified in the point scoring positions. Panzanieri in 15th probably do a point as well, unless that's the rule. You have to be at the checkered flag to claim your points. Looking from the rear wing of Brashok, nothing that will tell him to move out of the way for Fournier, who continues to remain in that 17-18 second window. If anything, he's down 19 seconds, so that last lap may not have gone according to plan. But Brashok gaining as best he can on Callas, who in turn will be following Hanko's slipstream. And we'll head into another DRS contest. And yeah, a little bit of a wide there for Brashok. Didn't hit the apex perfectly. But now Hanko is going deep to the inside, David. He's weaving to try and break the toe as best he can. And Callas is probably telling race direction, that's a bit unfair. Don't let him away with this.
Yes, there's a little bit of ambiguity about the rules with regard to what's weaving and what's the legitimate defensive rule, defensive move, and certainly weaving. He went to the inside and then back to the outside, and that's probably stretching it as far as the letter of the law will go. But you certainly can't do any weaving the moment there's even an inch of overlap. But Sander Callas has certainly made him assume a defensive posture here.
Certainly right. Matthew Toussaint, purple sector 1 there in P11. by himself at the moment. He can go no compromises, as he's perhaps got a chance to pick up that time again with the fresh tires after pitting not too long ago. And still, this battle for second place, it's so crucial. It just allows Mark Schluter to gain even more of an advantage, as of course he was the only driver in the top 4 to get into the 136s. Fournier by himself still is able to hit that benchmark too, but he doesn't have any help with DRS forthcoming for a while now, so he's just got to stay patient. As Schluter does have the softer compound. Here comes another duel for Callas in the middle of this fight. Brashok to try and help Optimal stay in the team's championship here. He needs to get onto the podium realistically to join Jeffrey Fournier if he's on record pace to finish P2. Then yeah, it really is important for Optimal to get a double podium to neutralize the work of Patrick Hanko.
It's incredible how close these guys still are. 35 laps in, and I think that Schluter probably needs to go to lap 40 if he's going to put on mediums, and he's going to come back out behind Fournier, only 2 or 3 or 4 seconds behind him. He needs to be on a lovely set of mediums that he can absolutely push all the way to the end, and I think that's probably 16 laps worth on a medium. So if that's the case, we'll see Schluter go another 4 laps. Brackshot and Pasquale. Oh, that's Jeffrey Fournier is in the pits.
Oh my words, he's in again.
This is not going to work out.
It's an exceptional gamble because he's just given the data to all the drivers in front of him.
I can't see a rear wing on Jeffrey Fournier's car.
Oh no, that could have been a critical error.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a look back.
Oh yeah, he's off. He's made a mistake. That would have been the entry to the final corner, or the second to last corner. Yeah, he's hit the curb too hard at turn 19, and he hits the wall backwards. And that will mean one contender has fallen for Mark Schluter here. It's already in his control. But Jeffrey Fournier was the most competitive driver and all. He's hit the curb too hard backwards, and smash goes the rear wing.
Yeah, well, that was an awesome fight by Fournier, but just slightly overstepped the limits of grip there. And I wonder if the team can put a rear wing back on in the pits. The team has refitted a rear wing, and Jeffrey Fournier remains to be seen if he's going to continue on. But he did ask the crew to repair the car, and the rear wing has been refitted. But obviously he's not going to figure on the podium. But yeah, still an incredible effort. And that puts at the moment Hanko and Callas in the box seat for podium, unless I'm missing something.
I'm not too sure. We have Fournier, at least he can get that wing repaired and leave the championship battle with a little bit of pride. He knows it's all over now. There's nothing he can do, because Sandor Callas will be the first driver to be outside of the Go team orbit to still be in the title hunt, and Hanko would need Schluter to have a nightmare situation like that to stand a chance himself. So in all honesty, Bradshaw here down the inside, but no, Hanko left the door open and Callas has taken P2. That was a great move there. Very high pressure situation here, but Patrick won't be too impressed. He wants to help his teammate and his team to retain their lead in the team's championship, as Christian Pasquale will be the backup option, because Brashok is now by himself and Zolt Sux has to fill in the gap left behind by Fournier. So it's a great night as things stand for CMT Go team. And a car wide there, probably one of the back markers. Couldn't tell, it might have been maybe Tucson or something, I couldn't tell.
Brackshock actually had to lift out. to lift out of that situation when Hanko and Callis were fighting. Brackshock had to lift out of that situation, or he would have been in the middle of that fight as well.
Exactly, yeah. Very good awareness there to back off where required. Marza a lap down here. He's in between. So, yeah, he'll be told to move over soon. Yeah, Pasquale enters the pits himself. Yeah, quite a remarkable few laps as the downfall of Fournier's title bid has just taken place here. So horrible luck for Optimal drivers since I entered the booth.
Now I think Callis has to stop again for mediums, because unless I'm mistaken, Callis has done 2 hard stints. And he's got to pit again for mediums, but then a lot of people are yet to pit. So,
yeah,
but he's currently running in 3rd. Tom Oldenmenger is up now in 4th.
It's really good for Tom.
And I'm just wondering what happened in that fight between him and Christian Pasquale. Pasquale must have pitted, because Pasquale is only about 21 seconds behind Tom on circuit. So probably that Pasquale has pitted and Tom hasn't pitted yet. So we'll see what Tom unveils for his run home. My bet would be another couple of laps and he'll put the mediums on, and he's going to be quick all the way home. But Pasquale, who he's in a duel with, is on mediums as well. So that'll be an interesting fight. Tom's will be a little bit fresher.
Yeah, very true. Sir, on this stint, has completed 13 laps. He should be on course to complete 1 or 2 more, and then he can push on to the checkered flag. Safe in the knowledge that it's his responsibility to seal the deal in championship with Sander Callas, who could perform a pass on Bradshaw later in the race. That would be the only way for Schluter to be knocked off the perch, is if he finishes 3rd or worse, and Callas wins this Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas. But yeah, at the moment, this must be Fournier who wants his lap back. Yes, indeed it is. He wants his lap back, and Bradshaw would be wise to make a decision one way or the other, because Fournier on the fresh tyres can't really be held up much longer, as he would like a top 10 to recover his losses today.
Yes, well, they're in the same team, so they might even have voice communication, but there is little reason for Bradshaw to hold him up, really, and not allow him to one lap.
He doesn't want to give up track position easily.
But the next car up the road for Fournier to catch is just finishing the long straight in sector 2, so it is a long way up the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Latinen a minute behind race leader Schluter, but by virtue of having 30 seconds advantage, that means he does have a pit stop in the pocket if he needs it. And
Tom Oldenmenger has pitted, exiting the pits now on mediums, just behind his dueling competitor for this race. All race long, it's been him and Christian Pasquale. And now as they enter the final stint, they're only separated by a second and a half. So that's going to be a fun battle for Tom to get between his teeth on the run home to the checkered flag.
Yeah, George will feel a little bit hard done by there, as he couldn't quite perform the pass in the nick of time against Oldenmenger, and it won't be very easy because Oldenmenger is on very fresh tyres, whereas Zalos Janis probably be finishing his 2nd stint in just a moment's time. Mark Schluter, he's gonna enter pit lane now. He's 1 clean stop away from the 2nd position. At the very least, he requires to guarantee the title regardless of what Sander does. So this will be race lead for Janos Bradshaw for a temporary measure at least. And Sluter versus Callas. It might be oh so brief. Or not at all. Schluter hangs on to the necessary P2 to become the 2025 FSR World Champion. And Callas can do nothing about that.
So Mark Schluter is 6 seconds behind Janis Brakshock. Where is Janis with tyre strategy? Janis pitted on lap 22 by the look of it. Can't see a pit stop since then.
No.
So Janos has to pit, which is going to drop him down into about 5th place.
Oh, Zolt Sucks is out of the Grand Prix here, David. He's out of the race. Something has happened. Has knocked him out.
I'll go back and have a look.
Yeah, we'll double check the replay. And that means we've lost another Optimal car from realistic contention. So it's turn 18. He's going backwards and he doesn't hit the brakes. And the rear wing goes slamming, bam, off the rear of that car. Yeah, so he's lost the traction in the triple apex and he hits a big bump and just slides almost in slow motion into the wall. So that means Optimal will be down one of their key cars in the Teams Championship. So it will be Jeffrey Fournier who, in hindsight, made the right decision to fight on and continue because Optimal need 2 cars in the points to be classified with the team's points. So they've lost their backup option and that's the end of his race, I believe. So it was a very, very unusual moment to lose it by yourself there in turn 18 and he didn't rescue the situation, but Zolt is out of the race and these are live pictures now. This looks to be the battle for what was that? Yeah, that's that car out of the way there, so no problems there for Patrick Hanko. But yeah, Janos Brakshock will be catching up pretty quickly now with opportunity to push on his brand new set of medium tires. So we'll watch out for the lap traffic again. That should be, say that would be Peter Knapp. I may be corrected, of course. There we go. Away they carry on. And Hanko will have to be very careful to not make any errors of his own yet. That it was indeed Peter Knapp. And he will try his best to distract Brakshock, who has DRS up until the braking zone. But he won't be able to overtake for very long unless he really is much, much quicker. So that will mean our 4-point deficit between Optimal and CMT Gold Team Racing is set to absolutely explode in the Go Team's favor there. They're going to get such a huge boost with only Brakshock in the top 5 as things stand.
So Christian Pasquale and George Tom Oldenmenger still only about a second apart, and Lucas Vichot just in his own signature way just literally jumped off the racing surface onto the grass to let them through again. So he doesn't use half measures when it comes to allowing a blue flag pass. Less than 1 second between Oldenmenger and Pasquale for 5th place. So we'll see who holds their nerve.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end, so that's when you really need to concentrate. George Zelos Yanis has come into the pits as part of the Ground Effect Sim Racing team unit here, so he will lose some places, but he'll hope. Yeah, he's out on the circuit before he loses over 60 seconds of time to our race leader Mark Schluter. Jeffrey Fournier will be very, very hard pressed to gain any positions from this point on without attrition coming into play. So yeah, it's going to be a long way back for Fournier, who at least could say he's not lapped down anymore, but sooner rather than later it will be too much to ask.
Sander Callis has also pitted. He's now on mediums, so we're waiting for him to do that. He's going to have to work miracles though to catch Janis Brakshock, who is 14 seconds up the road. Does Brakshock have to pit? I think Brakshock. No, it looks like Brakshock has pitted as well. So, and he's just done the fastest lap of the race. So Janis Brackschok on fire on the mediums.
Yeah, that's the money for Optimal just to stay a little bit hopeful after losing two of their cars to accidents. I know Fournier's still in the race, but realistically he needs attrition to be off the charts to stand any chance of helping Optimal out. That would be a case of just a glorified test session for him now. Latinen will be in the pits, so that'll be about 20 seconds added to his time.
Okay, I think we're about to see a big fight between Brackschok and Patrick Hanco.
Yeah.
Brackschok has DRS on Hanco as they go down the 1 kilometre back straight here. And drawing in. He won't have overlap in the braking zone, but massive pressure at the moment from Janis Brackschok onto Patrick Hanco as they intersect the 3. Both of the cars look like they're handling very, very well and both pushing really, really hard.
Oh, absolutely, David. This is a fine showing here as the lap traffic gets out of the way safely there. Live standings shows that Jeffrey Fournier will lose a spot in the championship to Patrick Hanco. Actually 2 places yet, as Callas, of course, was 1 point behind before we began today's racing. So Sander Callas up a position, Patrick Hanco up a position, Jeffrey Fournier down 2, but 177 points is an unassailable championship lead for Mark Schluter, and he could drop 4 more points guaranteed, and that would be absolutely fine. So with this enormous lead he's got, he could just...
Does that mean Patrick Hanco? Does that put Patrick Hanco in 2nd place in the championship?
No, Hanco would need Callas to be out behind okay. Pasquale and Oldeminger would be another few points that he'd need. So yeah, Hanco 89 points, Callas 97. So he would need to be a little bit further ahead. It's close, but not quite enough. Here we go again, though. Brackschok to at least deny Go Team comfortable 1-2. He's side by side already. He's through on DRS. Just needs to apply the brakes appropriately, which he has done. And that means it is Brackschok. Janis Brackschok is P2 for Optimal Esports. And that will be very difficult for Hanco to return the punch. As, of course, 7-lap-old mediums versus 3-lap-old. 7-lap-old hards, I should say, against 3-lap-old mediums. That's going to be very difficult to put up a counter attack. And Schluter put in the fastest lap, just this lap, at 1 minute 34.7, which tells me Schluter is unwilling to let this advantage go. He wants to keep pushing.
So, if Brackschok manages to come 2nd, I think this will be the 3rd time he's pulled off 2nd place. And I know winning is everybody's objective, but still, coming 2nd at this level is pretty incredible. And I know Janis Brackschok is a little bit time poor when it comes to time for testing, etc., setup testing and everything. So, fantastic talent to be pulling off a 2nd place in this level of competition. And it's amazing that group that was separated by 3 seconds for half the race, we've now got 28 seconds covering the top 4. So through the pit stop cycles and through a bit of attrition and some damage, the good and the great have been separated.
Yes, that's the way in racing sometimes. Yeah, full credit to Janis. He has been able to pick up a 2nd place at Silverstone, a 2nd place at the Spa-Francorchamps, but then a DNF in Singapore to break up his sequence. So there's a way for Brackschok to certainly get himself into 5th place in the championship if Oldeminger doesn't actually get onto the podium again this season. Then there is definitely a path to the top 5 in the World Championship for Brackschok here. He's going to pull clearer of his teammate Sux tonight, as Zolt made that big mistake that has knocked him out of the race completely. So he'll only get a little bit of points tonight. So yeah, here's a look at our world champion elect, Mark Cluter, on board through the rundown to turn 11 now. Turns 8 through 10, a very fun section of the circuit when you get it just right. And this will be a lapped car coming up. That will be Jeffrey Fournier. So salt in the wounds, no doubt about it, for our very charismatic Frenchman here. He's going to be lapped by the man who is 54 points clear of him in the championship as we began, but he's going to be nearly 73 points clear by the end of the race. So yeah, damning statistic there. But Jeffrey, if he can keep his head held high as he gets lapped officially, David, there's still a way back to become the runner-up in this most prestigious open wheeler championship.
Well, I guess, I mean, it's one thing to be lapped on pace. It's another thing to have a big one, lose your rear wing, get the car repaired and come back out and get lapped. So, you know, it's no indication of pace or talent. It's just the way the race panned out. It denied us our grandstand finish that I'd anticipated with so much looking forward to it. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it did need a few things to really make this a battle to ensure the survival of the Drivers' Championship battle. But both things have gone wrong for the Optimal team here, as they had two pretty quick cars. But Sander Callas is just doing his best here. Mr. Fourth position for the first half of the season. But now it's the second half. He has a chance at another podium, but he needs to push very hard to catch up to Hanko. But here's a look at Alden Menger, who wants to give himself a buffer to those drivers behind him in the battle for fifth place in the championship. As you can see, Alden Menger is going to gain 10 points for sixth position, but if he can't get fifth place, that'll be +2 in his column, whereas Pasquale, lying 10th in the championship,
I think Tom might get. I think he might get DRS this time. No,
yeah.
he has. He's got DRS.
Now.
Pasquale assumed a defensive posture, and wow, that battle! Talk about a slow burner. Those guys have been fighting for at least 40 laps, and Pasquale's not going to take it lying down either. They've had incredibly similar pace. Tom has just managed to haul him in and get through, and full credit to him, because following within a second for the last 10 or 15 laps, certainly the last 10 laps, you're at the disadvantage because of dirty air. And I think now that Tom's got clean air onto his wings, he's managing actually to just already pull a bit of a micro gap.
Yeah,
that's something he's been working on for the whole race long. So I know that the World Championship looks like it's been won, but there's still some incredible racing going on, and that was a mighty race-long battle.
Oh, for sure, yeah. A long-term objective completed for Tom thus far. He still has to finish the majority of the race here with 7 laps to go. And I'm just seeing here the hard work of Christian, trying to make sure he gets through the sequence 6 through 9 there. He's done so. So we have one last chance for a counter-attack. Or it could be a little bit too much to ask him, as Alden Menger pitted 2 laps after Pasquale did. So it is a fair fight on the medium compound for both drivers. But Alden Menger has that advantage with the more fresh tyres, and he had broken DRS, I think. So he just about got clear.
He has. Yeah,
he's
broken DRS. It's 0.7 of a second, the DRS, the gap required here to activate DRS, and so he's already around about a second ahead. So he's broken the DRS gap, and looking like he's going to be able to show a slightly stronger pace from here to the end. So incredible fight, you know. Hats off to both these guys for the level they've been driving at for the whole race long.
100%. I'm with you there, David. Sometimes it feels like you know, what's the point when it's only one more position? But on the other hand, yeah, it is great when the two drivers have been showing a very good standard of driving. They've been able to put in the lap times where needed, and their strategies have been pretty equal. So for Alden Menger today, this is a vindication of his particular strategy. If he can secure the top 5 position, he put in a PB on his last lap to make sure Pasquale had no response, and Alden Menger got 5th place at Singapore, so will be his 2nd best outcome of the season. He's got the 2 5th places previously, of course, and a podium at Bahrain when the season began. So if you can get 2 top 5s on the trot for only the 2nd time this season, that would be absolutely brilliant for his confidence and that of the Vega Valley eSports outfit.
Well, I'm pretty sure in the interviews after Bahrain, Tom Oldenmenger said that it's not one of his stronger tracks. He doesn't really like Bahrain that much. But I just wonder if he still feels that way because he pulled off a podium there. And yeah, so no, great driving. And he's only 8 seconds behind Sander Callis. And, you know, Tom was pretty pleased to see that Sander Callis was on the grid this season. Sander's a well-known name in Formula Sim racing. And Tom was just pleased to be racing against the level of Sander Callis, but he's competing with him really fairly closely. Shadows are getting a little bit longer now here at Austin, Texas, as we get sort of closer to sunset.
We do, David. It is 6 laps to go now. Race leader Schluter well on his way at this stage. He will be pushing on through the turns 13, 14 now, up to 15 and 16. And he's just cruising along, great lap times where he needs to be. So the 136s are his objective each and every lap until maybe those harder tires, now that they'll be about 11 laps old when he crosses the line to mark 5 laps to go in this United States Grand Prix. There we have it. Very, very nice. So another 136 has been put into the books. Janos Brashok on course to at least equal that lap time. We will check that out in just a moment. We'll know for sure how he's done. Across the line. And he is marginally quicker. Just about 5/500ths of a second is the gain there for Brashok. It's nowhere near enough here, David. But Patrick Hanko himself is a lot slower, nearly in the 137s for Patrick. That's a long way back for the Slovakian in P3, but he's doing his best just to make sure CMT Go Team Racing have a huge boost in the Teams Championship fight, as Brashok and Fournier are the only scorers available for Optiminal this evening. So a 1-3 is absolutely smashing for the Go Team.
So just looking down here at the 9th place is the final car that's still on the lead lap, and that's the car of Yassi Lahtinen. And this is a brand new team, MV Conquest. It's a brand new team in Formula Sim Racing World Championship. So even to be getting top 10 results in your first season, that also has to be applauded, and is no mean feat. Fournier is compared to him. Fournier's a fair way back from him. 9th and 10th.
Yeah, just watching Hanko's on board. He has the glitter purple helmet with the black highlights, as Walter Schluter has black with the red and yellow, representing his German nation there. There you go. And he also has the sort of the sun shine sparkles there. So very, very nice helmet. And he will just have to round off these 3.5 laps before he can be confirmed as the 2025 FSR World Champion. So yeah, he just has to doing what he's doing. Lahtinen, he'll be down the middle of the back straight here, so it should be clear running here for Schluter to the finish line. Latinen's pace is in the 137, so on current calculations, there's no way that Latinen could be lapped if things go ordinary or it goes safely for the Finn. So Schluter can just follow his plan and bring it to the finish line in about 5 minutes' time.
So it might be a good moment to just say, if any of the viewers out there, if you're an active sim racer and if you're quick in open wheelers and you want to get involved in Formula Sim racing, if you want to race against the very, very best drivers in the world and see how you stack up and learn and get faster, Formula Sim racing is one of the best places available to do it. So keep an eye out. There will be a winter series at some stage over the winter. We've only got 2 more rounds of the full season after this race, but soon after that there'll be a winter series. So if you want to get your feet wet, test your talent out, and perhaps even find your way to meet some active teams who can help you on the journey, you keep an eye out in the Formula Sim Racing Discord and the Formula Sim Racing website. We had 2 divisions this year, World Championship in Pro, but we do have the goal of expanding back into a 3-division competition for next season, which has been the norm. So come in and give it a go. See if you've got the pace. Unlike in real life, where it's very awkward to get out there and race against Max Verstappen, in the virtual world, you can gear yourself up and be on track with the very best drivers in the world, with relatively minor expense, but just a whole lot of effort on your part and talent as well. So we'd love to have some new drivers come and knock on the door and see if they've got what it takes.
Yes, indeed. But I suppose you're starting from absolute scratch. It will be very pricey to get yourself involved with sim racing, but if you do have some of the equipment already to go, then it should be attainable. Hopefully within budget to reach the quality of our World Championship drivers. Indeed, we saw earlier today the Pro class also around Kota today. So very, very impressive quality of standard across the board today. But what matters for Mark Schluter is that the quality is converted into the maximum 25 points to put the exclamation point on what has been an absolutely remarkable season for the German and indeed the Go team, putting him behind the wheel. He is on course for his 5th win out of 8, and then he has 2 second places to bulk that up. And Sander Kallas yet again staring at a 4th place in the face here, so it will be unfortunate for the Estonian there, but he will be 2nd place in the World Championship as things stand, because Patrick Hanko has not gained enough points to vault 2 drivers tonight. He will be just the 1, as Fournier is stuck in P10. And Schluter getting through turns 15 and 16 right now, so he's just 1.25 laps away from becoming the new world champion.
There's a massive shadow being cast by that big tower in Sector 3. That big viewing platform throws a huge shadow on the track.
There we go. Final lap has been notified for our drivers, starting with the Schluter himself. And the fact of the matter is he could even get himself a 5-second time penalty if something very unsporting was committed. He'd still be more than comfortable to make sure he could win the race. And even then, if something cost him the race win, he would have P2, which is enough to guarantee the title anyway. And then Sander Kallas being in 4th place also means that he's not in championship position either. So Mark Schluter has actually caught back of Latinen just in time here. Latinen has been losing about 2 seconds a lap since I did think it was impossible to catch him. But yeah, you can never doubt the power of Schluter. He's going for showmanship here, David. He's got a green first sector. Can he commit through the second sector? No, not quite. But yeah, there's no lifting and coasting here for Schluter. He's just a moment away from becoming the new world champion.
And he's right up behind Lucas Vishot. I hope Lucas doesn't try anything too fancy. He leapt off the track very neatly. Yep.
My mistake. I thought that would have been that to them. But yeah, Viscott 2 laps down there. But Peter Knapp goes into the pits just to round off his campaign. But across the line, he's going to shimmy and dance because he's done it. At round 8 of 10, Mark Schluter is the 2025 FSR World Champion. Hearty congratulations to him. He's been the outstanding candidate all season long, particularly with the first and second he picked up at the beginning of the year, and he's never really let slip. So he performs the celebratory donuts here, David. It's an honour and a privilege to witness Schluter get on top of the world.
Well, indeed. Yeah, we're seeing history made, a brand new world champion for Formula Sim Racing, and he's certainly done it in dominant style with 2 rounds left out of 8, and incredibly strong performances from Mark. And he can be very, very proud of what he's achieved in this quality of grid.
Yeah, so there we have it. Der Weltmeister is Mark Schluter, without a shadow of a doubt. And Jens Brashok has done Optimal favour there, coming P2 yet again. We'll feel that victory can't be far away. And Patrick Hanko, the very dutiful teammate for CMT Go Team, he can be very pleased with himself. He doesn't get the podium as often as he'd like. It's just his 4th of the campaign after his P3 that I was there with you, David and Amir, to witness. He got his podium there at Belgium, but then he fell back down to P6 in Singapore, so he's delighted to be back on the podium. Sander Kalas, the P4 sequence is back with a bomb there in P4, and then Tom Odenmenger has his P5 secured there, so well done to Tom, helping his cause to finish P5 in this World Championship.
And Mark Schluter and Patrick Hanko have done some fantastic burnouts. Now Nandor Masters meeting them. They're all the team is getting together and doing a whole lot of burnouts. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great that you can finally relax and celebrate your individual success and that of the team as well. If they can just keep the composure, then yeah, it will be a clean sweep for CMT Go Team Racing to become the double champions. That would be a phenomenal achievement if they can secure. Optimal will never totally throw in the towel whatsoever. They don't want to be sat at the sidelines for another season. Of course, they were 10th placed in the 2024 season, so it is a great turnaround to have CMT Go Team and Optimal rising to the very top of the FSR bracket here in the World Championship.
Well, there might be a possibility we get to talk to Mark. He's normally pretty good with granting interviews, so we'll check if somebody can bring him in.
We will give ourselves another moment to reflect on today's action before anyone such as Mark would be interested in an interview segment. So here's a look at our results one last time. Mark Schluter for CMT Go Team is your winner and your brand new world champion. Janos Brashok of Hungary gets P2 for Optimal. Patrick Hanko 3rd in the other CMT Go Team racing car. Sander Kalas, he's up to 2nd in the championship now. He finishes P4 in the number 5 car. Tom Aldenmenger is 5th for Vega Valley. Christian Pasquale 6th. George Zalozyanis 7th. Matthew Tucson in 8th. Yassi Latinen, he had some highs and lows tonight, but he gets the 9th position for MV Conquest. And Jeffrey Fournier losing that rear wing and his push stint to try and win the race. It went badly wrong for him, but he at least recovered to a P10. And then the 13 cars that made it to the finish. We have our list completed by Nandor Marsa, Peter Knapp, and Lucas Viscott. They all managed to see the checkered flag. Zolt Sux made a similar mistake to his teammate Fournier, but it was at turn 18 as opposed to 19, and he could not continue. Giuseppe Canzonieri had a lap 1 accident, and it never really looked like a fixable job for him. He was constantly in the wars, so he could not resume the race after missing his pit entry. It was just too much to deal with there. Cosmo Pasquito out of the race as well, and then Saba Ekeles also did not make the finish. So that was a long time ago, I'm afraid.
And guess who we've got in the waiting room? We've got Mark Schluter. I'll see if I can bring him in.
Hey Mark, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, du bist Weltmeister. Congratulations on a very, very impressive drive today. You knew that a second place at the very least was good enough, but you know, in your mind, the win was what you wanted most of all, wasn't it?
Yeah. We are still fighting for the team championship as well. So I still have to do my best I can. So it's a bit of a shame that Patrick dropped off. I think we could have done a 1-2, but 1 and 3 is still a good result for the team overall.
Yeah, totally agreed. It was very interesting to see how far you went in your first stint. You went very, very long into that first, and it made the other drivers around you really think about what they were going to do. And in the case of Jeffrey Fournier, he made a critical mistake and caused himself some damage at the back. So were you confident that your tires would last as long as they did?
Yeah, I think so. We were just thinking I go as long as I can until my tires drop off completely. The lap times still were good and consistent, and we were undercutted anyway. I don't think it would have made any sense to react to the undercuts. And yeah, I think that was one of the key strategies today. That I ended up like 18 seconds in front because of the huge tire advantage I had in the second and third stint.
Yeah, we sort of read that into what you were doing once Jeffrey Fournier had pitted and you chose not to react but to go long, that you clearly wanted a big tyre advantage at the end. Can I ask you, what do you think of this circuit? Did you find it easy to learn? Have you raced on it much before?
Yeah, mostly on the Codemasters F1 games, and I think last year on GPWC Super League, the track is, yeah, I think a bit on the lower end of the grip, but yeah, I think it's a fun track, especially the S's, and yeah, hope it's in the calendar next season.
Well, I'm sure your wishes will have more than a little bit of influence, Mark, as the reigning world champion. So certainly from my side, congratulations. You've put on a stunning display of driving to wrap the championship up with 2 rounds to go. And you've had some stiff competition and you've had to fight for it, but you've really, really given an outstanding season. So a well-deserved Formula Sim Racing world champion. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, massive congratulations for myself as well, Mark. A very, very impressive job.
Yep. Thanks, Eoin.
No bother.
I'm sweaty now after this race.
I bet you are. I bet you are. So what do you think, Owen? Will we... is there more you would like to bring to the viewers, or will we wrap this up at this stage?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, well, the most fascinating thing for Mark was definitely all the overtakes he had to pull off after his first pit stop, when he was officially undercut by some of the competitors. So he had to make sure he didn't do anything totally out of fear or anger. He made sure he stayed very cool, and he made all those overtakes that he needed to make sure he was in the clear. And yeah, so sad to see Jeffrey Fournier make that mistake that cost him the chance to compete for a podium. But It certainly doesn't take away the efforts from Janos Brashok, and yeah, indeed, the third place finish as well for Patrick Hanko as well. So the fact that the CMT Go Team Racing have pulled out an extra advantage in the Teams Championship, that is so important. We'll make sure that there's no absolute relaxation for the team. They have to keep working for Japan and Mexico just to make sure they leave the season absolutely with the clean sweep.
I can see now Janos Brakshok has actually joined this in the waiting room. So will I bring Janos in to
yes,
have
by
a
all
word?
means, let's have a word.
Okay, I'll bring him in now.
Hi, Janos. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yeah, so congratulations to you on your drive to second position. It does mean that you have a little boost in your individual championship berth with your third podium of the season. But Tom Aldenmenger did score a strong amount of points himself. So is that your belief? You are capable of a top 5 in the championship with 2 races to go?
Yeah, probably. Yes. This second position came from nowhere, basically. Before the quali, I knew that I won't have any chance for pole, maybe for the front row. But yeah, my quali was a disappointment today. My first stint was fine. Basically, in my point of view, the whole race was very entertaining. When Sander did some waving, which was very, very funny, but yeah, I felt shame about him that he lost the car. Yeah, the second stint was surprising for me when CMT took the mediums, and yeah, that was the moment when Mark won the race. Yeah, I have to congratulate to him. He deserved the season, so yeah, much appreciated. And yeah, I feel very pleased, considering that I lost so many points at the previous round, because yeah, that was my fault clearly, because I didn't do any test race before that race. So yeah, it's a satisfying result today for us.
Yeah, it's interesting you say us, because so unlucky for Jeffrey and Zolt that they both had accidents by themselves, and that cost them a lot of points for the team in general and themselves. So at least if your podium gives Optiminal a bit of a consolation prize, then the team championship is still on the line, even if Mark is very much focused on that now after sealing his own title. So I think there's still a way back.
Maybe. I feel that they are a bit stronger currently. But yeah, 2 runs to go. Favorable tracks upcoming. So yeah, we will try to do our best.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing everybody battle at Suzuka. That's a magnificent track, so we can look forward to that one.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm all out of questions, David. So if anything else for?
Yep. Well, I think fantastic, guys. Thanks for entertaining us with such an amazing race, and I think we can say good night to the viewers. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we'll join these fantastic drivers again next time out at Suzuka in Japan for another Formula Sim Racing World Championship round.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a 2-week wait. That's not too shabby. So yeah, everyone can take perhaps 1 or 2 days to think of how they're going to approach Suzuka, and then get practicing as soon as they possibly can. So yeah, it's been a great pleasure to be invited back for the second time this season to help out with the streams. So I really appreciate Amir as the broadcast director, and yourself, David. You got the experienced head. You drove today as well in the pro class, so you've got a lot of knowledge for me to absorb from, and of course the viewers are very grateful as well. So thank you so much, David.
My pleasure. It was fun to be here. So thanks for having me.
Likewise. So yeah, that's all we have for you this evening. The FSR World Championship for drivers has been secured by Mark Schluter. So a great big congratulations to him. but there's still plenty more to be fought for across the Drivers' Championship from second but below. And of course, the Team Championship is firmly up for grabs. So we'll see you then in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.